task we have is I'll put my needle away. We have a French knot. So I have my other needle threaded and I'm using purple thread, and we're just going to do the same here. We're going to knot the bottom of the thread so that it doesn't come through. And with the French knot, it's a bit trickier than the seating stitch. So the French knot can be used for decoration as well. I'll show you an example of a French knot again. So this is our French knot. So as you can see, it's used to create visual texture and it's quite raised. See, I'm just trying to show you the fact that it's raised up off the thing. So it's really nice for using the French knot to create texture, and if you're creating like shapes or like flowers, it's really nice to use. This one's a bit trickier than the seating stitch, but we'll get through it. So like the seating stitch, we're starting from underneath, so we're going in from behind, pulling that up through, and then this is where it kind of gets a little tricky. So we're bringing our needle close to the bottom of the thread, so where it's kind of sitting, we're just bringing it close, and we're going to wrap our thread around the needle 3 times. So I think, and then we're pulling it, oh, so this can happen. So we're wrapping our needle around the thread 3 times. And then we're trying to get as close to where we've come up from. So we're bringing our needle back through, not the same hole, but really close beside it, and we're just pulling through. So you're pulling this thread tight as you're going through, and you're just pulling the needle through the back. So sometimes it doesn't work, and that's okay. So see, we're just pulling through, and I'm kind of holding my finger on the side. So that's our first French knot. I'll try and go over this slowly again. So we're going in from behind, we're pulling it up, we're taking the thread with our weaker hand, so the hand that we're not sewing with. So I'm right-handed, so I'm holding the thread tightly in my left, and then we're wrapping the thread around the needle, so 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and we're pulling the thread tight, and we're going, so see, as close, so really close to where we've come from, but just not the same hole. And we're pulling this through. It can be a bit tricky because there's a lot more thread on it now. So we're pulling that through, and we're still holding it like tightly with our left hand or your right hand. And we're pulling that through. Sorry, I wasn't even filming that. So that's our second French knot. I'll just focus that on there. So this is a really handy for creating texture, and I hope this video is showing a good example of how to do it. So I'll just do one more. We're pulling this through, we're taking the thread in our non-dominant hand, so the hand that isn't holding the needle, and we're wrapping it around it 3 to 4 times. And then we're going back in close. Oh, I think I actually went into the wrong one there. And we're just pulling this through. So it's quite tricky then when you're pulling through. But I'm still holding down the thread with my left hand. Okay, this is really being a bit difficult here. So I think I just went and pulling it back out. So I had gone in the same hole by accident. So if you can see there, we're trying to go in around like here, like really close. So like around there. So I might just poke that through. So that's where I want to go in. So I'm wrapping the thread around my needle. Two, three, and then so I have it pulled really tight. Oh, too tight. I let go. So I have it pulled tight, and now we're going in where I've just poked the hole. So we're pulling it tight, we're going in with the thread, and we're pushing the needle through. And then so it's kind of like wrapped around the thread. So we're holding it with our left hand, the thread, and then we're just pulling from the back. My hands have just gotten so much weaker. I can't seem to pull it through. Okay, I think we've gotten it. So that's pulling it through now there. So as you can see, my hand is still holding, my thumb is just still holding the thread, and we're pulling it through from the other side. So I'll let go. And we've got our 3 little French knots. So, like finishing off this thread, we'll pull the thread out of the needle, we'll tie a knot. So you just loop like that, and we go back in. Sorry, I think the focus is kind of off. And then we're pulling it tightly there. So that's just to make sure the thread doesn't come out. And we're snipping it away with the scissors. So these are 2 examples of the seeding stitches, or the filling stitches that we've done today. So we have the seeding stitch was the first one we went over, which was creating parallel lines. So I'm trying to let that focus there. Creating parallel lines. And then the French knot, which was creating like raised texture. So you can see it's raised above the surface now. So I hope you can use these filling stitches to your advantage and create wonderful pieces using these stitches. Once you know these stitches, they're quite commonly used in embroidery, and you can use them anywhere on anything, just so long as you have your needle and thread handy, you'll be on your way. Okay, so thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed this task.